Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Gaur Radha Madhav ki jai, Granthara Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Gopi Gita ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Bol. So good morning to all of you. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for your presence there. We are continuing with our series of lectures connected to the Gopi Gita, the song of the gopis, one of the many Gitas, one of the many songs inside the song of the Bhagavat, which is itself song. Many songs along the Bhagavat, and one of the many songs between all the different songs presented by the gopis. Venu Gita, Pranaya Gita, Gopi Gita, Brahmar Gita, Viraha Gita, Yugal Gita. There are many songs in the 10th canto, but this Gopi Gita is considered by many the topmost. So today we are in our 11th class. We will be discussing verse number 9. We are almost in the midst of the whole Gopi Gita. But before starting with today's verse, let's go for a minute to verse number 8, which is the shloka we were discussing yesterday. And in this verse, the gopis are referring to Krishna, praying to him, saying, "Your sweet voice and charming words, which attract the minds of even the scholars, are bewildering us more and more. Our dear hero, Vira, please revive your maid servants and fill us with the nectar of your lips. Madhuraya gira balgubakyaya. Buddha manoknyaya pushkarikshana vidikaririma. Vira mohyatir hadara sidunapyayasana. Deliver the nectar of your lips and revive these maid servants of yours." So this verse constituted the fourth of a series of four, a fourfold request that the gopis presented in 4 verses, verse 5 till 8, where they were asking Krishna, requesting Krishna a particular blessing, a particular form that he may make his appearance in them. So in these 4 verses, the gopis focus in particular, let's say, limbs or aspects of Krishna's presence, existence. Verse number 5, they connect to Krishna's hands. Put your hands on our heads. After that, they go in verse 6 to Krishna's smile. After that, they go to Krishna's feet, hankering to receive that on their hearts. And in this verse number 8, they are speaking about Krishna's mouth, the nectar of his lips, his speech, his words, and so on. So when the gopis speak about Krishna's speech, of course, they are not the ones who delight, as we mentioned, in the philosophical ramifications of Krishna's words, but actually in the words themselves, taking them to its fullest reach and import, and understanding them in a very deep and esoteric way, in a unique way compared to even other devotees such as Uddhav, as we mentioned yesterday, who read to the gopis Krishna's words in a letter, but he had an idea of the content of that letter, and the gopis understood a very different prospect present there. So Buddha Manognaya, in this verse, the word Buddha referred to someone intelligent, someone enlightened, but it ultimately refers to a rasika, a babuka, someone who is relishing the mellows. And of course, ultimately that applies to the gopis themselves, who are invoking this term here. They address Krishna here as Vira, as in many other instances, which means hero. And of course, here in many senses this can mean, but in this particular sense, it means you should be a hero in giving charity, in giving mercy, in being generous with your darshan, in sharing your darshan with us. Also, you are a hero because you are conversant with rasa, with the language of divine love. So please appear and reciprocate accordingly. So the gopis are asking, requesting Krishna to appear and to give the nectar, the intoxicating elixir of his speech, words, lips, of course, as drunkard person who is drunk and after some time the effect disappears, and she is asking for more. And so the gopis are bewildered. Here they imply with the word muhyati. They are experiencing bewilderment because of the intoxicating power of Krishna's speech and words and lips. But they are asking for more of that. So that's the sickness they are trying to remedy, but the only medicine for that is more of that same thing, basically. Also, at the same time, they are basically implying we are just on the verge of death at this moment, so save us, appear to us, give us the darshan, give us your darshan if you want to save us from the penultimate stage before death, which is also bewilderment. And that's also defined in this context. But of course, with this, the gopis are implying so many things in an esoteric way, indirect way. We again spoke about that, how prem expresses itself indirectly, very especially in the context of romantic love, where you are not openly saying I love you. The analogy was given with the lamp, outside or inside a cave, when in the open air. So in the particular relationship between Nayika and Nayaka, heroine and hero in the context of rasa in the romantic setting of Gaudiya Vedanta, there are certain laws and codes where certain things are not being said overtly. They are being said in many ways, but mainly for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. So in this way, we extended this idea also not only to the realm of romantic love with Bhagavan, but also for us as sadhakas, how we should be sober, how we should hide properly, if you will, our guru, our insights. Narrations will say, apana bhajana katana kaivo ātataṁ. You shouldn't make a public show of what's going on in the innermost cave of your heart. You should know how to deal with that in a very delicate way, because it's a very delicate thing, basically. So some words as a summary of yesterday's verse, and of course the conclusion of this verse as well as the other ones. The gopis are basically asking Krishna, appear before us, show yourself for us, because we know you need that. We know you want a certain type of service and pleasure that we can only provide you in this particular moment. So we are dying because we cannot provide such a pleasure to you. So a very noble ideal. So let's go to today's verse, which is verse number 9. I'll be sharing now here in the chat section. This is a well-known verse. I will say the most well-known verse of all Gopi Gita, if you will. Of course, the Gopi Gita in itself is very well-known, but this is quite well-known. So let's see why. We'll try to unpack that today. So I will recite the verse in Sanskrit for the ones who would like to join, of course. It says like this. Tava kathāmṛtaṁ tapta-jīvanaṁ kavibhir īḍitaṁ kalmaṣāpaham śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ śrīmad ātataṁ bhuvi gṛṇanti bhūri-dā janāḥ. So, translation of the verse, the gopis are saying, the immortal beverage of your words and the narration of your activities are the very life of those who suffer in material existence. Such narrations, distributed by poetic sages, eradicate one's karma and bestow auspiciousness upon those who hear them. These narrations are most beautiful, and being endowed with spiritual power, they flood the world. Those who recite them are the most charitable of all. So, Sri Hari Katha ki jai. So today we are trying to speak Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, and here the gopis are glorifying this type of Katha, kathāmṛtaṁ. So they are saying tava kathāmṛtaṁ. Tava means your kathāmṛta. Kathāmṛta means another way of saying Hari Katha. Katha has to do with words, conversation, and amritam means nectar. So kathāmṛtaṁ means nectar-like conversation, the nectar of your words. Tava means yours, so the nectar of the words about you. So what happens with this kathāmṛta? The gopis will present the whole parade of attributes accompanying this Hari kathāmṛtaṁ, especially 6. We will see. Tapta-jīvanaṁ, tava kathāmṛtaṁ, tapta-jīvanaṁ. Tapta-jīvanaṁ means life. Jivana means life. So this kathāmṛta is life for those who are aggrieved in the material world. Tapta, for those who are burning in the blazing fire of samsara. So jivanam, it gives life to them. Your katha. What else? Kavibhir īḍitaṁ, kalmaṣāpaham. Kavibhir means great poets, great thinkers, great sages, kavis. īḍitaṁ means described. So this katha is described by great poets. Kalmaṣāpaham. This katha also, kalmaṣāpaham, drives away all sinful reactions. Means kalmasa refers to sinful reaction, and apaham is driving away. Another attribute of this Hari katha, we are going in the word by word section now. śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ, śrīmad, ātataṁ. So śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ, mangalam means auspicious, and śravan means hearing. So it's auspicious to be heard. It gives auspiciousness when heard. When you hear Hari katha, you receive auspiciousness, bhakti sukriti, devotional blessing. And śrīmad, ātataṁ. śrīmad means these narrations are filled with spiritual power, Sri. And ātataṁ means they are broadcast all over the world. These narrations are here and there, floating in every section in the world. And the last line of the verse, in the last line, the gopis dedicate the last line of the verse to glorify those who are bearing this message here and there around the world. So they say, bhuvi gṛṇanti bhūri-dā janāḥ. So bhuvi means in this world, bhuvasva, in this material world. gṛṇanti means chanted, spread, and bhuvi gṛṇanti ye means those who. So those who spread, who sing this Hari katha in this world, who are they? Bhūri-dā janāḥ. Jana means person, and bhūri-dā means most beneficent, most magnificent. So those persons are the ones who are given the topmost charity, the ones who are giving Hari katha to the world, that the topmost charity which directly goes to touches the soul, activates the potential of the soul. It's not get stuck in any relative consideration, but goes straight to the very root of the whole thing and uproots the whole problem, avidya, by giving proper vidya, by giving raja vidya, by giving the king of all education in the form of knowledge about our relationship with Krishna. So this is verse number 9. Maybe you already were familiar with it. So after giving a brief idea of the general word by word meaning of the shloka, we'll try to unpack it. So we'll give two main meanings to this verse. The acharyas have taken these particular two positions. As we know, we can speak about two groups of gopis. Of course, there are many groups and many nuanced division regarding different groups: swapaksha, vipaksha, tatashta, suhrit. The ones who are swapaksha, close, for example, part of Radha's group. They are the ones who are vipaksha, opposite to Radha's group. They are who are suhrit, friendly towards Radha's group, but not part of the group. The ones who are tatashta, who are like impartial towards Radha's group or towards the other party, if you will. But in general terms, we speak in this case of two groups, Dakshina Bhav and Bhamya Bhav, as we already spoke. Dakshina Bhav are the right-wing gopis, those who have a more submissive attitude, like Chandravali and her clan. And on the other side, we have the Bhamya Bhav, the left-wing gopis, more contrary nature, as may call. They're led by Sri Radha, Lalita, Vishaka, and so on. So we'll give two particular perspectives of this verse, according to the gopis with the submissive mood, who will express the same directly. Remember, the direct presentation has to do with the Dakshina Bhav, the submissive nature. And interestingly, this group may speak the same exact words as the other gopis, the gopis with the contrary mood, who will express themselves indirectly, but the meaning of the words, even though it's the same externally, is completely different internally. So over and over again, we go to this idea of the indirect speech, implied meaning, even though externally it's the same. This is always present there. For so many people, they are saying the same thing, they're looking the same circumstance, but every one of them will process something different. So remember, we go for a minute to the previous verse to connect one shloka with the other. And in the previous verse, the gopis were saying to Krishna, Adarasiduna pyaya yasana. Please release the nectar of your lips and revive us, your maid servants. Vidikaririma. So the point is, revive us, the gopis are asking Krishna. So Krishna may ask to them, as we mentioned already, in between the lines, in between each verse, Krishna will give some spurti, some epiphany to the gopis, and will appear and will speak with them. And the gopis will have some dialogue there, according to the vision of Vishwanath, to his spurti. So the gopis are asking Krishna, please revive us. We are on the verge of death. And Krishna, in a curious mood, will ask them, well, how do you manage to stay alive in my separation? So expecting Krishna to say that, here the gopis are mentioning the reason they stay alive, even while dying in separation from him. Give me 1 minute, I will take some little water. So the gopis will mention here the reason why they stay alive even in the midst of dying. As we already say in previous verses, the gopis were saying to Krishna, we are not dead, we are not alive. So please make us dead or alive, something. So they will describe the glory of Harikatha, and in that context mention, this is what is keeping us alive. Hearing about you, remember about you, speaking about you. The glory of Harikatha is a glory that the gopis have ascertained from their own realizations, deeply imbued with deep love. So that's the point. The gopis in the previous verse asked Krishna, revive us. And here they are saying, your katha is enlivening us. It's continuing, providing living energy, if you will. So the gopis are glorifying here Harikatha and the bearers, if you will. I think in English you say like this, the one who bear Harikatha, the one who are spreading the message. So they are speaking, whoever is broadcasting the words about Krishna is the dearmost friend of all. Krishna is the dearmost friend of all. Suhridam sarvabhutanam. So whoever extends the narrations of such a friend becomes the best friend as well. The glory of Krishna. So all this came to the mind of the gopis here, as well as the virtue of such song. It's in itself, no? Such song, I mean, Harikatha is a song. So Sridhar Swami, let's go first to Sridhar Swami, who is the ancient commentator on the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, so much revered by Mahaprabhu himself. So Sridhar Swami mentions that here the gopi intend to say that we are on the verge of death, dying in separation from you, but those virtuous souls who make others drink the nectar of the topic about you cheat death. So that's the expression he uses, no? The ones who are spreading Harikatha are cheating death. Death is cheating everyone here in this world, no? In the sense that most people are living like Yudhishthira Maharaj said in Mahabharata. No? The most astonishing thing I found in the whole planet is that everyone is dying, but nobody is realizing that. Everyone is living as if they will live eternally here. So that's really bewildering. How death is cheating everyone. But those who are presenting Harikatha, Amrit, are cheating death. Now, Amrit means also immortal, something, a giver of immortality. And so that means there's no more mritu, no more death. Death has been cheated here. So the ones who make others drink the nectar of Harikatha are treating that, and that's why the gopis are still alive, basically. So the gopis here have asked Krishna to do these four things, as I mentioned before, this fourfold previous request: appear, hand, feet, whatever, except smile, and here and previously words. But Krishna still did not appear. So it is said that the gopis at this point are thinking, well, maybe he's not reciprocating with us. And they have a dialogue with their own mind. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in many instances also presented dialogue between the gopis and the gopis' own minds, with a separate voice, if you will. So some boys may say, well, what you ask for to Krishna should be given to devotees. In their humility, they feel we are not devotees. Krishna is not appearing because we don't have enough love for him. So the fact that Krishna is not appearing, Krishna is there whenever there is love. So they may think in their humility for a moment, there is proof. This is the proof that we are not devotees. We are still alive in separation from Krishna. Krishna doesn't need anything from anyone. He's God. Some Aishwarya comes for the moment. He's not obligated to do anything to keep us alive. So the gopis say in the very first verse, maybe you remember, Drita Batas, our life heirs rest in you only. So this mind will say, that means nothing. So your prayers is useless, basically. That idea may sound. So they are refuting their own minds, if you will, here in this verse. They are saying, actually, we are not making any effort to stay alive. That's the point. The katha, a topic about Krishna, that prevents our own life force to leave our bodies. I mean, the katha about you, they're saying to Krishna, has the same potency, capability that you have. It's amrita, again. It gives you new life. It's like an elixir. Rasayana katha, it's called sometime in the Bhagavatam. Like use tonic, like an Ayurvedic elixir that sanjivani, like gives back life back again. So all this, let's speak for a moment about this idea, Amrita. So Balabhacharya also mentions that in his commentary. Amrita has two meanings here. On one side, it counters death, and on the other side, it has the nature of the rasa of the Lord, he says. So on one side is granting liberation from the negative side, and on the other side is the form of the highest bliss. Protecting us from the negative, providing us the positive. And that's a whole full-fledged idea of Amrit. And the gopis in this verse, Balabhacharya said, describe six qualities connected to this kathāmṛtaṁ, starting with tapta-jīvanaṁ. As I said, tava kathāmṛtaṁ, tapta-jīvanaṁ, kavibhir īḍitaṁ, kalmaṣāpaham, śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ, śrīmad, ātataṁ. So these are the six. We will go one after the other. And it is said that of these six modifiers of Harikathāmṛtaṁ, each successive one is superior to the previous one. So let's understand how this works in the mind of the gopis. So first of all, they say tapta-jīvanaṁ. Tapta-jīvanaṁ, as we say, is life-giving. Your Harikatha gives life back. And one may say, okay, but further, above that, that nectar is praised by the kavis, by the poets, by those who have spiritual wisdom, those who are rasikas. So, and someone may argue to that. The Acharyas give like purva paksha, like argument to their own point. So, okay, beyond giving life, or taking you out of mortality, the nectar has a positive content. It's sweet, it's poetic, it's praised by the wise. Okay, that's higher. But someone may think, okay, women are also like that, some Acharya have said. They can soothe a man's affliction. They are praised by great poets. So Harikatha is praised by great poets, beautiful ladies as well. So that's why they go to the next point, kalmaṣāpaham. That Harikatha removes sinful reaction, while it doesn't happen with the praising of anyone in this world. And one can say, okay, Harikatha removes sinful reaction. That's a higher conception. But also there are other means of atonement for sin that are like that too, that remove sin on some level. So to counter that, the gopis next say, śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ. By hearing Harikatha, it bestows all auspiciousness. No? The meaning of this is, it's auspicious to hear what those other means are like, say to the church, because the other means are like ghastly in comparison to Harikatha, whereas the nectar like Katha, kathāmṛtaṁ, generates bliss just by hearing. And someone may say, okay, it generates that bliss just by hearing. But you can also say, hearing that a wife gave birth to a boy is also auspicious to hear, śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ. So to counter that, to counteract that, the gopis invoke the next attribute, the fifth one, śrīmad, which means full with spiritual potency, with the wealth of transcendence. So, of course, and the commentator said, giving birth to a child in this world is not a giver of wealth. Actually involves a loss of wealth. You have to invest lots of money there. Where Harikatha produces wealth, and of course not only mundane wealth, but the topmost one. And someone may present another further argument and say, okay, Harikatha gives wealth. Even you can take it in a mundane sense, mundane wealth. If you speak Harikatha, all blessings will come. And someone say, okay, but obtaining a kingdom is like that too. So you can have a kingdom and you can obtain wealth, śrīmad. So to repudiate that idea, the gopis finally say, ātataṁ, ātataṁ, which means this is spread everywhere. Harikatha is spread everywhere. Whereas a kingdom is limited, has a delimited area, but God's Aishwarya, God's opulence, God's majesty, God's message is not so. It pervades, all pervading, inside, outside. So the difference between the Lord and the Katha about Him, if we want even to speak about that, what's the difference between Krishna and Krishna Katha, is that Krishna Katha can always be found, while Krishna do not necessarily always will be found. Here the gopis are not finding Krishna, but they can always find Harikatha. So that's a way of living in separation, if you will, for everyone, from different cases, for us to begin with. So even Sri Radha eventually in the Bhagavatam says this in the Brahmara Gita. She says, I can live without Krishna somehow or other. I can manage to sustain my life without him in separation, but I cannot live without Krishna Katha. If topics about Krishna disappear, automatically I leave my body. So this happens daily, on a daily basis to Sri Radha. For example, she wakes up, she's with Krishna all night, and when they have to separate themselves, she goes to Javat, to her house. Krishna goes to Nandagram. So Sri Radha is just dying. It starts to burn in separation immediately after a second of leaving Krishna. And when she goes home, eventually after a brief while, she wakes up and she starts to die in separation. So some other gopis come, Madhurika, Shyamala, bringing news from Krishna, what he's doing now in the morning at home. So that maintains her alive. But eventually these gopis leave, and Sri Radha is again thrown into an ocean of despair. So the manjaris start to assist her in the morning duties, and help her with brushing her teeth and using the tongue scraper and combing her hair. And while doing all that, the manjaris are always narrating Krishna's leelas and connecting all the ingredients with some past leela. So invoking Krishna Katha at every moment. That's the point. So Srimati Radha can survive in those moments. So the point is, Krishna may not be there, but Krishna in the form of Krishna Katha has to be there in order to survive, to make our life really alive, to have our spiritual life alive. And in that context, the gopis finish the verse saying, and those who speak these nectar-like topics on earth are bhūri-dā janāḥ, the topmost charitable people, which also means they provide many meanings to these narrations. They're delving so deep into this message and showing so much content there. They're not ordinary people, the gopis imply. So Harikathamrita. Let's revolve around a little bit more regarding the term Amrit. Sanatana Goswami in his Brihad Bhagavatam Vaishnava Toshani, he says, therefore this katha is Amrita or nectar. So this means that the katha is like nectar, he says, in terms of being both the sadhana and the sadhya. Katha is not only the means, but the goal as well. As Sri will say, we are after positive and progressive immortality. So whatever we are doing now, we project to keep doing that in the eternal future, if you will, eternal present, actually. So Hari Katha, Shravan Kirtan, actually, is the means, is the sadhana, but also is the objective, the goal, satya. So Amrita, there are three types of Amrita generally described. Here the gopis are referring to one specific type of Amrita, which is the topmost one. But there are two lower Amritas described. So we will mention some brief words about that in order to proper compare and by contrast understand the glories of Harikatha Amrita. The first Amrita is the one that is found in Swarga, in heaven, in heavenly planets. It is said that the devas there drink this Amrita, and sometimes we hear they become free from death by doing that, by drinking that ambrosia, they become immortal. But actually, that's not true. We know that nobody is immortal. No one is immortal there. Maybe, yes, they live for a period that is almost like immortality for us. For an ant here, whatever. It's relative perception of time. For us, a butterfly lives only one of our days. But for the demigods, we are a butterfly. Our whole life is just one of their days. So they live for a long period, Mambantara, which means hundreds and millions of years. But after that, they have to die. Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punala Bhartinarjuna. From Brahmaloka up to lower place here, birth and death, birth and death. Krishna says this in the Gita. So there is this Amrita in Swarga can act as an elixir, as a medicine to cure a disease, for example, but actually cannot give nor immortality nor full joy, which are the two really meanings of Amrita. If you are unhappy, you cannot take that Amrita and be fully content. For example, we have examples of this. When Bali Maharaj, again Bali Maharaj, he captured one, the Nanda Kanana gardens of Indra in the heavenly planets, is Indra's favorite pleasure garden. He drank Amrit there. He reached there, drink Amrit, but he was still unhappy because for going there to Swarga, he had left his wife, children, his kingdom for a long time. So he was still lamenting for that. So it shows, even though you drink that, still some attachment, some lamentation is there. Or even if a person drinks this Amrit, that can happen that you can become extremely lusty, for example. Famous example is Indra himself. He's the chief of the demigods. He's all day long intoxicated by this Amrita. Or Chandra also, the moon god, is also connected to the principle of heavenly Amrita. The moon itself is said to be consisting of that. And it is said that both of them drank this Amrita and they went to Gautama Rishi's wife once to satisfy their lusty desires, the wife of a sage. So eventually they were cursed by Gautama Rishi. So the point is, this Amrita is also increasing the desire to taste sense enjoyment in this world. So actually it's a very lowly thing. It do not allow full samadhi, as Bhagavad Gita say, Bhoga Ishvarya Prashaktanam Taya Pahrita Chetasam Vyabhyasya Yatnika Buddhir Samadhu Nabhidiyate. For those who are too attached to this Bhoga Ishvarya position, enjoyment, fame, opulence, not possible to have samadhi, to be focused in one direction. So this Amrita is pretty delicate, so be careful. The second Amrita, we may call it Moksha Amrita, the nectar of liberation, obtaining mukti. But again, we know, at least for us Gaudiya Vaishnava, that's not the ultimate nectar. Vritrasura himself prayed in the Bhagavad and some other prayers there, Nanaka Prishtam, Na Chapara Mishtam, Na Sarbhavamam, Na Rasadipatyam, Na Yoga Siddhim, Apunarbhavam Ba, Samanjasatva, Vidahaya Kangshe. I don't want anything from this world, or nor from the other world, not even liberation. If for that I have to renounce you, he prayed to Krishna. Napunar bhavam, I don't want liberation. Mahaprabhu say the same. Kavitam ba, I don't want moksha. Gyan karmadi anabritam, our bhakti shouldn't be encumbered by these desires. So of course, in the scripture we hear, if someone attains moksha, all the unfructified reactions, aprarabdha karma, retired, unfinished, but still that person has to suffer the reactions that are fructifying prarabdha karma, while with bhakti, this is not the case. You can uproot even prarabdha karma. And what to speak of the nectar that you taste by having a devotional connection with Bhagavan. Of course, again, with this, we do not want to insult moksha because it's a possible goal, and Brahman is one of the three features of the divine. And we may insult moksha, but we have never attained that. Who knows if moksha devi, mukti devi comes to our door and offer her service? I mean, who knows if we say no, thank you, I'm for bhakti there here. Yeah, because it means total relief, free from all effects of the gunas. But for one who have a taste of real bhakti, you will end expressing yourself like Prabodhananda Saraswati or someone like this, Kaivalyam Narakayate, things like this. No, reaching this so-called amrita means hell, he's saying. But he's saying that from his subjective experience of the real amrita, which is the one the gopis are referring here with Hari kathāmṛtaṁ. So again, even prarabdha karma, so many things are retired when you hear Hari Katha, are destroyed. This third type of nectar, real nectar, Hari kathāmṛtaṁ. So drinking heavily nectar does not decrease ignorance, rather it increases it, as we say. The nectar of liberation, it cuts with ignorance to a point on a level. You have to wait for the other part, but it's not giving a taste for service to Bhagavan. So in every respect, Hari Katha is superior to the nectar of heaven and the nectar of liberation. And that's why Uddhava is praying. Kim Brahmajan Mavir Ananta Kathara Sasya. I do not care to be born as a Brahmin, a good position in this world. I do not care to be born as Brahma himself. I do not care for anything, even mukti. I only want to be in touch with Ananta Katha, with unending flow, current of topics about you. So that's the real wealth of Hari Katha. Vishwanath says this in his Sarartha Darshini commentary. He says, the nectar of your topics, he paraphrases the verse, the nectar of your topics, being constantly broadcast by your devotees, bestows all wealth. Śrīmad also means bestowing of wealth. Which is the ultimate wealth? Prem. So bestows of all wealth up to Prem. Golokar Prema Dan, Harinam Sankirtan. Prema Dan. Dan means wealth. And the other two nectars, Vishwanath is saying, cannot do this. Swarga Amrita, Moksha Amrita, they cannot bestow Śrīmad up to Prem. And Vishwanath says those who glorify you in Kirtan, gṛṇanti, thus they are bestowing the greatest treasure. They are extending the possibility for tasting this greatest treasure of Prem. And he ends his words saying, even though one may give that person who is sharing Hari Katha, if you give that person everything you own, he says, you can never repay him or her. Our debt with the sadhu is eternal, because you have received something that is much more valuable than all the things of this world put together and more. Even considering the other world in the form of heavenly planets, the other world in the form of moksha, all that put together cannot compete with one single drop of this Hari kathāmṛtaṁ. So for those who are sharing that wealth, they are the most charitable of all, and we receive the highest debt of all. But that if we incur in that debt, fortunately, we will be free from all the other types of debts. So in this way, the connection between sadhu and Hari Katha, the Bhagavatam also very nicely says this: Susruso Shraddhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Shanmahatsivaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. By serving those devotees who are totally freed from all vice, by serving the sadhus, great service is done, because by such service, one gains affinity for hearing about Hari Katha. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. So that's interesting. The Bhagavatam says the fruit of sadhu sangha is to increase your taste for Hari Katha. Because what do you do in sadhu sangha? Well, mainly you hear from this lotus lip of the sadhu about Hari. So you receive Hari Katha in sadhu sangha. So the result of sadhu sangha is an increasing of your taste for Hari Katha. So here the gopis are giving testimony of all that with their own example. And as we mentioned also, when Harikata actually enters a person's ear, or any of us, it is said that it's not necessary for that person to perform any other limb of bhakti, even. To show, of course, it doesn't mean that you are forbidden to anything else, but the point is the potency of that Swarup-siddha bhakti is enough to take you to the higher realm. Bhagavatam starts, the very Bhagavatam starts with this, Sadyohridi avarudyate kritivisu suvistakshanat. By hearing this Bhagavat, says the book, the Vastunirdesh Shloka, second verse, immediately you become free from all anarthas. So one may say, immediately? I'm hearing for some years already, and I can detect a good number of anarthas yet. But suppose a person who is full of anarthas begins to hear Harikatha of the Bhagavat. That person has been involved with the world for anadi, time immemorial, unlimited time, non-end, not beginning, beginningless time. And that now the person is on the path towards real perfection. So in comparison to beginningless time, if that person, by hearing Bhagavat, if in a year, 2 years, 2 births, 3 births, lifetimes, that person attains the ultimate goal, that may be considered immediately, takshanat. So we have to understand what's the point of it, takshanat. And even someone may argue, someone may say, okay, but the conditioned soul may have a taste for Harikatha, Vasudeva Katha Ruchihi. At the time when hearing the Harikatha, how nice this Katha, but then someone may say when that person is not hearing, when the lecture is over, Maya attacks him again. One may say that, but in this connection again, this verse of the Bhagavad, the very first, second one, say kritivisus rusuvis, which means, which refers to those who have developed intense eagerness to hear. For those who have such eagerness, result will be immediate. And as much as you don't have eagerness, result will take some more time, but it's there anyhow. It's like the example of the seed. In a seed, you have the potential of a tree, and the seed will sprout and will grow first, not in a tree, but 2 leaves, 4 leaves, 8 leaves, some twigs, some branches, some flowers, eventually the fruits. But that will take some time. You don't have a tree in a weekend. So similarly, also, a soul may have been wandering again, Brahmanda Brahmiti Kona Bhagavan Jiva, for countless lifetimes here and there, but eventually Harikatha comes and it's so powerful that it may give the result of Brahma even in just 1 lifetime. That's possibly, theoretically speaking, although it may not be the general rule. So that's the meaning of immediately. Parikshit Maharaj obtained that in 7 days. 7 intense days, of course. So some ideas I wanted to give you about this verse regarding the meaning that will be appreciated through the lens of the Dakshina Bhav Gopis, the overt official meaning, if you will, the clear meaning coming from the right-wing Gopis. Now we will turn to the meaning of the left-wing Gopis, and bear with me today. I may extend my lecture a little bit more, so have patience, please. I'm sure you will be happy by hearing what's coming now. So mainly through the words of Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, here reveals a very interesting and charming version of this word, of this verse, in the context of Vyajastuti. Vyajastuti means you are glorifying someone even though it seems you are criticizing that person. It seems you are criticizing, but actually they are giving a very special type of praise. That will we will know here now, this here. And that will correspond with the Bhamya Bhav Gopis, the Gopis, left-wing Gopis led by Radha. So what's saying Vishwanath here? He paraphrases Krishna, and Krishna seems to say to the Gopis, hey girls, girls, spend your time in discussing topics about me for a moment until I show up and revive you. Remember, the Gopis were asking Krishna the previous verse, please revive us. So Vishwanath speaks, Krishna speaks through Vishwanath, and he is saying, okay, but speak about me for a while, and I will show up eventually and will revive you. So here the Gopis are answering that. The songs about your name, form, pastimes are sweet, and now here, this is his point, if they are accompanied by the sight of you. Otherwise, they create very undesirable consequences and becomes a cause of death. Kathāmṛtaṁ. We can separate the Sanskrit in this word. Tava kathāmṛtaṁ or tava kathāmṛtaṁ. Mrita means death. So the gopis are presenting this particular idea to Krishna. Words about you, in separation from you, are the cause of death. So Krishna will ask, how is that? Explain yourself. So now we will go to the explanation, the possibility of how each word of the verse will mean its exact opposite to what we already explained, basically. So tava kathāmṛtaṁ, that's the same, almost the same. Tava kathāmṛtaṁ. So the gopis are saying the first part, the katha about you is a cause of death. So next word, tapta-jīvanaṁ, which generally means gives life to one who is dying. But here the gopis are saying, by hearing those descriptions, one's life becomes full of pain and separation. Tapta-jīvanaṁ, this is the meaning. And it is said that another meaning for jivana, apart from life, is water. Tapta means sometimes fire or hot oil. So the possible meaning here of tapta-jīvanaṁ is, by those descriptions, we become scalded like water sprinkled on hot oil. So you can see how Sanskrit lends itself to this particular plasticity. So the gopis are saying, thus for us, the katha is a source of affliction. Thus the katha is death. Because when we hear it, we know death is at hand. It's coming soon, very nearly. So first, they interpret this idea. No? The interpretation from this gopi side is tapta-jīvanaṁ. So we are like water being thrown into an ocean of hot oil. That means tapta-jīvanaṁ for the left-wing gopis, according to Vishnu. Then they say kavibhir īḍitaṁ, which generally means your katha is being spoken by poets and sages. So the gopis say here, well, the nectar of the topics about you is the reason, is an affliction. They already say that. And this is only praised by the kavis. And they say, yes, the meaning remains the same, but the intention is different. They say, they're praised by the kavis, the writers of the books, but not actually by those who are conversant with love. And Krishna may ask why, and why then the Puranas say that Harikatha is like Amrita? So the gopis will reply here. Well, the nature of kavis, they say, the nature of scholarly poets is to embellish things. Like for example, instead of they're saying the horse is running, they will say, a poet will say, the horse is flying through the air. So, but his poetic speech, he attributes a particular virtue to something that doesn't have that virtue. So the point is, they're saying something, but actually it's not there. They're exaggerating something to the point of glorifying something that is not there. And that's one classical device in poetry, abhyapti, which means exaggeration. In poetry, that's allowed. So the gopis interpret this idea, kavibhir īḍitaṁ. Yeah, your katha is spoken, glorified by poets. Who are poets? The ones who exaggerate everything to the point of saying something that actually is not there. So there's no amrita in your katha, there's mrita, it's death. So next section is kalmaṣāpaham, which meant the nectar drives away sin, the harikatamrita. But the gopis are saying, even if we want to accept that, it may drive away sin, but it's not taking away the heat of the fire of separation. But actually, they say actually, the gopis say that harikatha drives away sin. All types of inauspicious are driven away, and so on, including ignorance, avidya is being uprooted. But actually, we are the evidence to the contrary. We ourselves are given a practical example beyond theory, basically. We have performed extremely, we must have performed extremely, sinful activities to be so tormented now. But that torment is not removed by your harikatha. We are taking shelter of your harikatha. The gopis are all day long speaking that, from up to down, from tip to toe. But our torment is there. And tonight, now we are here, roaming in the forest here and there, crying bitterly. You have left us. You have banished from us. So we can understand that your nectar of your katha It's not kalmaṣāpaham. It's not driving away torment. We are suffering more and more. Actually, it's giving kalmasa. It's giving torment. Because as much as we speak about that, and you are not here, we are suffering more and more. Again, we have to remember all these expressions are in the context of bhakti rasa and different vyabhichari bhavs, different waves of transitory ecstasy, which are nourishing the main sthayi bhav, the main dominant emotion, which is romantic love. So all this is in the context of divine bliss. Do not forget that for a moment, please. So the gopis imply this, no? The idea that your harikatha drives away sinful reaction, it's a roundabout way to say that actually it causes sorrow. Let's be honest. And there's this logic sometimes in the Vedic tradition which says that sin is expiated by experiencing unhappiness. No? You have to suffer and thus play out the results of your sin. So that's how it was happening with us. We were suffering. So this way they are contradicting all the previous possible interpretation. Then the verse says śravaṇa-maṅgalaṁ, which generally is auspicious to hear. So what will the gopis say in this case? So they say, your katha is pleasant to hear. Yes, pleasant to hear, because the pandits are reciting. The poets, they use some embellishment. It sounds nice, but the real meanings of those words are not understood by all these people who are saying this is so auspicious. This nectar is auspicious only in hearing, the gopis say, but not by realization. No, we have realization and there's no auspiciousness. You are not here. That's the point of no auspiciousness. We are always discussing about you, your dancing, your beauty, your form, your qualities. We have spoken so much harikatha, we have heard so much harikatha, but our lives are devoid of auspiciousness because they are devoid of you. So if hearing harikatha is auspicious, you will have come to meet with us, but you didn't. And so again, the conclusion we see of every line is appear before us, more and more. Then they say śrīmad ātataṁ. The verse says śrīmad ātataṁ, which we say first, the katha is filled with spiritual energy and is broadcasted here and there all over the world. So the gopis here present a very particular interpretation of all these terms. They're saying, the idea here is that your topics are disseminated, again, ātataṁ, but the gopis say, by evil men who, blinded by intoxication of their wealth, hope that everyone will die by hearing about you. This is the play of words they make with the word śrīmad. Śrīmad can mean full of spiritual energy, but śrīmad also can mean, Shri means wealth, Shri is Lakshmi, Srimati, the Lakshmi Devi, Shri is wealth, and Mada means intoxication, like Madan Mohan, intoxication. So the gopis interpret ātataṁ, yes, disseminate the topics, but by who? By śrīmad, by people who is intoxicated, blinded by intoxication of wealth. So they will promote this. In which way? So they say, well, they want that everyone, they want their wishes, these evil men want everyone to die by hearing about you. To accomplish this, they will spend so much money lavishly by going from country to country and village to village, hiring pandits to narrate the Puranas, to speak harikatha, and they will promise these pandits, I will give you as much wealth as I have. So these pandits will sing your glories in this world, causing the death of many people like us who are dying. So the wealth, and the wealthy people, Sri, which are intoxicated, Mada, as if drunkard, they will become eventually rogues, rascals. They will kill everyone in the world for no reason, just by hiring these pandits. You hire these pandits to speak Bhagavad, to speak your glories, and everyone becomes a criminal. So these wealthy people will say to the pandits, go to village, go from village to village, door to door, speak such topics that people will abandon all their possess. They will abandon their wives, their fathers, their mothers, their children, their wealth, their material happiness. Let's ruin their life. Let's them become street beggars and die miserably. That's how Vishwanath presents the idea. The wealthy people are speaking to the pandits in this way. So while they are spreading this trap, your topics are like a trap. So they spread this trap and they sit peacefully at the same time, as if they were gentle souls, the gopis say. But these pandits actually are committing genocide. They're killing everyone by this discourse. For these people, it's for this reason that really intelligent people will avoid these pundits, will keep them at a further distance, even that further distance that a contagious disease, worse than coronavirus, these pundits are. We see Srimad Radharani say something similar when Krishna left from Vrindavan. In the Brahma Gita, again, other verse when she's speaking to the bumblebee, in verse 18 of this 47th chapter, she's saying this very same thing. She says, to hear about the pastimes that Krishna regularly performs is nectar for the ears. Again, kathāmṛtaṁ. For those who relish just a single drop of that nectar, even once, their dedication to material duality is ruined. Many such persons have suddenly given up their wretched homes and families, and themselves becoming wretched, traveled here to Vrindavan to wander about like birds, begging for their living. So again, this is Vyaja-stuti. It seems they are preventing us from doing that, but actually they're saying go there, right there immediately. So they are saying that the result of hearing Bhagavad, hearing Harikatha is you will have no more taste for worldly life. That's the whole point. So the gopis continue this idea, no? So these speakers, these pandits are going everywhere from town to town saying in a very gentle voice, we don't want anything from you. Just hear from us, as Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta would say to his disciples, I don't want anything from you, just give me your ears and I will pour something there. But he knew which will be the consequences. Prabhupada would say, just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Just chant Hare Krishna, hear this Harikatha. And of course, they knew what was going to happen. They were mercifully enough. Again, it seems we are criticizing them, but we are giving a special praise to them. But the gopis in this language continue saying, in this way, these pandits are spoiling everyone's life. They are hunters, they are killers of mankind, they are certainly bhūri-dā. So now they go to the last line of the verse, bhūri-dā, which means generally munificent person, but they interpret bhūri-dā in a different way. They say actually they cause the death of those who hear them by destroying their happiness, by ruining their lives. And you say, why? What's the meaning of bhūri-dā in this context? So bhūri-dā, da means giving, generally, but also it can mean severed. So bhūri-dā means, bhuri means good fortune. So bhūri-dā generally means giving good fortune. The ones who spread your message are sharing auspiciousness, blessing to all of us. But also it can mean severing good fortune. That's the meaning of this second group of gopis. So the language gopis are saying here that we have seen that happen to those who hear your katha, your Krishna katha. We have considered this deeply, but we have come to the conclusion that those who speak Harikatha have caused all our good fortune to be severed. They have disturbed and spoiled our lives, and that of others as well. So they speak in this context again. And they refer to all this in the context of being separated from Krishna. Sometimes the example is with the lotus and the sunshine. In the sunshine, the lotus may be in the lake, blossoming, spreading its fragrance, and no problem, very beautiful. But if you take out the water from that lake and you only leave the lotus with the sun, we know what will happen. So in the same way, the gopis are telling Krishna this very same idea. If you are personally telling us Harikatha, Krishna will be the lake here. The gopis the lotus and Harikatha the sun. So the gopis are implying if you are personally telling Harikatha to us here now, that will taste sweeter than nectar. That will be amrita. But on the other hand, if the lake disappears and leaves only the lotus with the sun, if we hear Harikatha not from your lips, but from someone else in separation from you, that will simply cause pain to us. It will remind us of you, and thus it won't be amrita, it will be mrita. It will be deadly and poison, because it will increase the blazing fire of our separation from you. Again, tapta-jīvanaṁ. It will be like throwing a few drops of water in a pot of burning oil. You know what happens that if you have that type of accident in the kitchen someday, there won't be a nice result there. So in this way, the gopis are concluding here. No? These Bhamya gopis, these left-wing gopis conclude, no one should hear Harikatha. Again, it seems they are going just against of what we should say and hear. No one should hear Harikatha, Krishna Katha. The only reason, and you may ask, but why you are speaking about that? You are speaking Harikatha. So gopis will say, well, the only reason we are discussing Harikatha is because we cannot stop. That's their helpless condition. It's addictive. We cannot stop. We have entered into the trap. What to do? So the point is they are presenting their helplessness in this way to ask Krishna, to cry, Krishna, please return to us. Come here at once, they pray. If you do not come, we are dying. We will die very soon. And as we were saying, the gopis imply, if we die, everyone will criticize you because you are killing so many ladies together in such a way, you are not appearing, taking pity on them. So this is the second possible interpretation of the verse pertaining to the Bhamya gopis. And actually only these Bhamya gopis dare to speak like this, or even to think like this in relation to Krishna. Only themselves and their followers will appreciate these words. Some other people will feel, oh, this is too bold. But the ones in that connection will really appreciate and understand that. Because again, it seems they are blaspheming Harikatha. They're blaspheming the pandits, the preachers, if you will. But actually, this is not so. Actually, their speech employs this literary device called Vyajastuti that I mentioned, which means praise in disguise. It seems I'm insulting you, but I'm very specially glorifying you. So this literary ornament, it's not only in the Bhagavad, it's employed all along the scripture. Rupa Goswami wrote this famous verse also that says, if you have attachment for your house and family and worldly life, please do not ever go to the banks of the Jamuna where there is a bluish boy playing the fifth note and his flute. Do not go there. But actually what he's saying is go there immediately because you have to ruin your whole mundane life. So this literary device is a very charming, indirect speech in a charming way. But actually here the gopis are not being critical. Actually their ironic words, sarcastic words, are carrying much more ambrosia, much more nectar than the ordinary meaning of the verse, the straightforward type of praise, which is also a level of praise, but Krishna is not that pleased with that. So actually Krishna is too immeasurably pleased, not fully pleased with these latest words. He's thinking, oh my God, if I do not bring myself before them, that will be an insult of my part, on my part. Even though it seems the gopis are insulting him, Krishna is not taking any insult, but actually he's feeling, I will be presenting an insult if I'm not appearing right now. So try to imagine what must Krishna be feeling by hearing each of these verses. Remember, he's there hiding behind the tamal tree, hearing over and over these verses and catching the innermost meanings of all this. So the point is let's go back for a minute just before finishing. Give me some few minutes more. Going back to the first meaning, the general one that is also has some application for all of us, especially. We could understand this idea. Okay, those who merely speak about you, the gopis will say, are very fortunate. So what can be said of those who see you? That's the point. So therefore, the gopis are requesting here, tvai drishyataṁ, tvai drishyataṁ. They say that in the first verse, and that's repeated between the lines in all these verses. Tvai drishyataṁ. You should show up. You should show up to us. So this is a ninth verse of Gopi Gita. This is, as I said, very nice verse, very well-known verse. Mainly well-known, I'm saying this because also Mahaprabhu, this verse has a very special role in Gaur Lila. So let me share a brief incident in connection to this verse and Gaur Lila, and with this I'll be finishing. We will find a very section that personally I like a lot that is connected to Prataparudra Maharaj and his attempt to obtain Mahaprabhu's darshan, grace, service. So eventually, after many attempts and receiving Mahaprabhu's grace in installments, because as you know, the king of Puri, briefly, Mahaprabhu, when he went to Puri, Prataparudra Maharaj was not present there at the moment. He was doing some conquering in another states. Mahaprabhu conquered the whole state by starting with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and so many others in a few months. all the city was just converted to Gaudiya Vaishnavism. But eventually, when the king was about to return, Mahaprabhu left for South India. So Prataparudra Maharaj never met Mahaprabhu, but he met his whole kingdom totally mad in love of God. So he was thinking, what's going on here? And who is the person who created all this? And they said, Mahaprabhu, where is Mahaprabhu? He left. So you can imagine how Prataparudra Maharaj will feel. He was a great devotee and only king. So Mahaprabhu was traveling outside of Puri for 2 years. So these 2 years, the heart of Prataparudra Maharaj was churning more and more. So when eventually Mahaprabhu returns, Prataparudra Maharaj asked for some interview with him. Mahaprabhu said, no, never. He's a king, a worldly person. I'm a sannyasi. I cannot see him. So this destroys the king. So eventually, Nityananda Prabhu and other associates start to intervene, and gradually Mahaprabhu is giving his grace. He wants to give his grace, but he's taking care of loka vichar, public opinion. So eventually, Mahaprabhu gives some little part of his clothes, some remnant, and the king is worshipping that on the altar. Eventually, Mahaprabhu gives the darshan to Prataparudra's son, which is considered like, if the son has the darshan, it's like if the father had it. But eventually, Prataparudra Maharaj also will have the personal contact with Mahaprabhu in this particular instance, which is Rath Yatra in Puri. So Prataparudra Maharaj was sweeping on the front of the church as his humble service there. And eventually, at one point, Mahaprabhu is resting for a moment in the midst of the Rath Yatra. He has fainted in ecstasy. So at that point, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya calls Prataparudra Maharaj. He appears dressed as a devotee, not as a king. And he suggests to him, go nearby Mahaprabhu, very softly massage him, and please him somehow or other. So at that point, Prataparudra Maharaj starts to sing Gopi Gita. So he started from the first verse, Jayati Tikam, and so on. This is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he started verse 1, verse 2, and gradually Mahaprabhu was coming to his senses and feeling so much delight by hearing that. And when he reached this verse that we are discussing today, the 9th verse, which is glorifying Hari Katha, it is said that Mahaprabhu immediately was transported here to the Rasa Leela. He became most ecstatic. And he remembered both of the above meanings we gave today, left wing, right wing meanings, and all other possible aspects of this verse that we cannot even conceive because we're not Mahaprabhu. No? So he was in Radha Bhav, so who knows what he was tasting there. We can only contemplate this mentally to some level. But Sri Chaitanya, his feelings are those of Sri Radhika. So he could actually experience all this to the fullest degree. So he was really seeing Krishna in his heart and feeling separation from him, being Krishna, but in the mood of Radha. And Krishna giving darshan to Mahaprabhu with Krishna, but well, you understand my point. So eventually Mahaprabhu felt so happy by what the king had offered. Mahaprabhu was not aware this is the king at that point. He was totally in ecstasy. So he embraced the king tightly. And at that point, it is said that Prataparudra Maharaj finally became a recipient of Mahaprabhu's mercy. And that's why sometimes with the recitation of Gopi Gita is presented in different celebrations, festivities. Sometimes the whole Gopi Gita is sung, that's generally the standard, but sometimes Gopi Gita is recited only till this verse, but representing this particular moment, when Prataparudra Maharaj was reciting, and he was only able to reach till the 9th verse. He couldn't continue till the remaining 10 verses because Mahaprabhu interrupted that in ecstasy. So sometimes in honor of that, the recitation of the Gopi Gita is finished here. Of course, we will continue till the end, but I want to make this special point. So let me share you just, and this will be the end of today's lecture, some brief verses in this section that describe this particular moment. I just give you a summary, but let me share you some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are here in Madhya Lila, chapter 14, verses 4 till 18. So let me share you straight these 14 verses, which very sweetly describe this interaction between Prataparudra Maharaj and Sriman Mahaprabhu. So it says like this. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was resting in ecstatic love, Maharaj Prataparudra entered the garden. Following Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's instructions, the king had given up his royal dress. He now entered the garden in the dress of a Vaishnava. Maharaj Prataparudra was so humble that with folded hands he first took permission from all the devotees. Then, with great courage, he fell down and touched the lotus feet of the Lord. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lay on the raised platform with his eyes closed in ecstatic love and emotion, the king very expertly began to massage his legs. The king began to recite verses about the Rasa Lila from śrīmad Bhagavatam. He recited the chapter beginning with the words Jayati te edikam, which is this GOPI GITA chapter. When Sri Chaitanya heard these verses, he was pleased beyond limits, and he said again and again, "Go on reciting, go on reciting." As soon as the king recited the verse beginning with the words tava kathāmṛtaṁ, this one, the Lord arose in ecstatic love and embraced him. Upon hearing the verse recited by the king, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have given me invaluable gems, but I have nothing to give you in return. Therefore, I'm simply embracing you. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to recite the same verse again and again, the one we're studying today. Both the king and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were trembling, and tears were flowing from their eyes. My Lord, well, now the verse is recited, is invoked, this particular verse we have studied today. Let's recite it again. My Lord, the nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those who are always aggrieved in the material world. These narrations are transmitted by exalted personalities, and they eradicate all sinful reactions. Whoever hears these narrations attains all good fortune. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Those who spread the message of Godhead are certainly the most beneficent welfare workers. Another version of the original one I share with you, but very similar. So after reciting this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced the king and cried, "You are the most beneficent. You are the most beneficent. Bhūri-dā, bhūri-dā," a word from the verse, bhūri-dā. At this point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not know who the king was. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy was aroused because of the king's previous service. Therefore, without even asking who he was, the Lord immediately bestowed his mercy upon him. How powerful is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya! Without even inquiring about the king, the Lord made everything successful. Finally, Śrīmad Mahaprabhu said, "Who are you? You have done so much for me. All of a sudden, you have come here and made me drink the nectar of the pastimes of Lord Krishna." The king replied, "My Lord, I am the most obedient servant of your servants. It is my ambition that you will accept me as the servant of your servants." So in this same way, as Prataparudra Maharaj ended his prayer, begging to Mahaprabhu, "Please accept me as the servant of your servant." He pleased Mahaprabhu by reciting this GOPI GITA. We prayed, so we may today and hopefully always be able to give pleasure to Mahaprabhu, to his servants and followers through the recitation in this case, or and the study of this GOPI GITA all these days. In this way, we may be someday fully accepted by Mahaprabhu and his servants as the servants of the servants of the servant. Dasa Dasa Anudas. So, Śrīmad Mahaprabhu ki jai, Prataparudra Maharaj ki jai, Shri GOPI GITA ki jai. So I don't know if there are any questions. We can use some few minutes if you have some question connected to what we shared today.
Yes, thank you so much, Pranams. Can I ask a question here about the nature of the Amrita, which is presented in the creations, one of the creation stories, when they're churning the milk ocean and the nectar that appears there? Which of the Amrits is this in the bottle there?
Regarding the churning of the ocean between the demons and the devas, yes, in the Bhagavad? Okay.
Yes.
Well, generally it has to do with the Amrit, the first one we spoke, because that's the one that the demons first wanted to take, but eventually it's given to the devas by Mohini Murti. We know all the dynamics of the Lila. First the demons take that, snatch that away. but eventually Mohini Murti comes, bewilder the demons, and give that back to the devas. So actually, that speaks in terms of Swarga standard, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that's on one level. But at the same time, we have seen that the commentators have made many parallels to what's coming from this turning in the context of bhakti. For example, the very first thing that was the result of the turning was a kalakut, the famous poison. That's the first thing that came, that Shiva took, because the poison seemed to kill everyone there. So everyone was concerned what to do with this poison. And Shiva took that on his throat, but he was able not to swallow that, and he became Nilakanta, which means the one with blue throat. It was an ornament. It's a whole parallel to the guru. The guru dealing with the anarthas of the disciple, but dealing in such a way that he becomes ornamented. He's not dying by swallowing that. So some acharyas have compared this turning of the ocean with the practice, with the bhajana kriya. Now you start to practice and you start to churn your heart. You start to clean, if you will, to move, to pass the broom. So some dust start to move. So eventually the very first thing that may appear will be poison, if you will be anarthas, will be dust. So Guru will be there to assist us. And in this way, different things appear before the nectar. And many of these things that appear are compared to certain benefits that may appear in the context of bhakti, that we should be very careful of not getting attached to that in a selfish way, because if not, we will be incurring in what we call taranga rangini or bhakti utanartha. Bhakti may give fame, followers, knowledge, but if we start to exploit that for ourselves, that becomes an obstacle. So in this turning, so many things appear like this, referring to opulence, wealth. And the very last thing, that is the nectar, it's compared by the commentators to prem, in the context of the turning of bhakti. So of course, the ultimate substance that comes from that turning will be divine love, the ultimate refined, distilled essence of bhakti is prem. So we have also that devotional parallel, but going to the literal application of that section, it has more to do with the amrit of the deva, in this case the swarga one. But we are after the other one, the one that the commentators are sharing. But in order to reach that, first we have to know how to deal with the other issues that come on the way, the poison and this and that. So it's a very interesting section of the Bhagavad, especially if we read it through the hands of the commentators and understanding the parallels that all those symbols have in our practice as sadhakas. Something else?
I have a couple questions.
Who is speaking?
Mahara.
Oh, yes.
If they're not on topic enough, you don't have to answer them. I'll try to be on topic, but I might not be. The first one I have is about separation, because you're speaking about the gopis, they're feeling such separation. And I was also reading that for us, the separation that we feel, union and separation, Srila Sridhar Maharaj speaks that it's like we have to accept whatever Krishna is bringing our way, kind of like the gopis are ready to accept whatever Krishna is going to do to them, but they're giving their counter arguments, their arguments and their counter arguments. And so, but for us, it seemed like we're just like Tat Te Nukampam verse, we're supposed to accept whatever trials and tribulations Krishna sends, be they good or bad, that with a positive state of mind, knowing that this is what Krishna wants for us and it's for our higher good. And is that right? Did I read that right, do you think?
Yeah, but I will also add that the gopis have also that disposition to the fullest extent. No, I mean, when we see when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, quote unquote leaves, what's the attitude of the whole Brajavasis? I mean, they are not even dying, as we have the famous example, Ramachandra left Ayodhya and Dasaratha Maharaj was not able to survive in separation from him. He died. But Nanda Maharaj, he survived. So you may feel, oh, he has less love because he was not able to die. But no, he has further love. Of course, it is himself in another lila, but he has further love because he was thinking, if I die, Krishna will die. Krishna will suffer of my death. So somehow or other, I will keep myself alive. And I will accept, and I will never blame Krishna, even though it seems the gopis here are insulting Krishna, blaming Krishna. In the ecstasy of their love, by showing these different vyabhichari bhavs, at the end of the day, they are carrying all the burden on their backs. As we will see in further verses, well, they leave this very clear. Actually, okay, this is our destiny, this is providence, we have to cope with this. And they are able to do that to the fullest extent. Especially we see that when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, and how they go on with their life without ever blaming Krishna, actually. It seems they are doing that in the context of the ecstasy of the romantic love, but in the real sense, they are fully ready to accept whatever has to happen, whatever God wants, because they speak in those terms in Braj. Whatever providence wants, okay. Of course, God is Krishna, but for them, it's not like that. So in this way, we as sadhakas, of course, we cannot imitate the gopis, but we can follow in their footsteps. But by following what you said, yeah, we have to be. That doesn't mean to be automatons, but to fully imbibe Saranagati. Eventually, we will have a will of our own in transcendence. That's also there, but that will in transcendence will be expressed on the foundation of full Saranagati. So full surrender will be in place. So our own will be only and always for the pleasure of Krishna. So now we are building this stage of Saranagati. We are putting the wood and the bricks and everything in place. So we should gradually be, more and more willing to be open to this, no? To be to not so much as Guru Maharaj will say, make Krishna part of our agenda, but be open to enter into whatever page of Krishna's agenda he may like us to throw in. So you have another question?
Yeah, this is in the section of when Parikshit inquired about Krishna's character with the gopis for the benefit of those in the audience, because some of them weren't very pure. Well,
that will be for the last class.
Okay, well, it just made me think of it because you were speaking about the demigods and their character. And in here, he mentions, Jiva Goswami speaks in Vishwanath about how the demigods are free from the laws of karma, and Vishwanath says that the devatas are not at fault for transgressing dharma. So what to speak of Krishna? And even though they act contrary, they were without ahankara. So I was just, that doesn't even compute, because then why would they, fall from their position?
I should check the details of the context of the verse, but what I think they are referring to is that they are not creating karma, in the sense of, if you go from, let's take an example, if we would like to go to Svargaloka from here, and you start to perform particular rituals and whatever you have to do to get there, and you accumulate stocks of piety, because that's how you will enter there, punya, 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 sukriti, mundane sukriti, but sukriti. So you will go there, and you will not create karma in that particular experience being in Swarga, but actually you will exhaust whatever good karma took you there. I mean, you have lots of karma, good one, but karma, lots of that for you to go there. So you go there to exhaust that karma. You are not creating new karma by being there. You are just exhausting your good karma. Whenever that good karma is exhausted, you come back here again, as we know. That's generally the rule. So I think that's why they are saying that the devas are not connected to karma and all this, but actually being a deva is karma.
Okay.
Reaching there is karma. I mean, so it's a good karma, but it's karma anyway. So, but during that particular state, you are not developing good karma, bad karma. You're just exhausting the fruits of that, of what took you there. So that's the point. Okay. Similar to the planetary, hellish planetary systems. You go there to exhaust the result of your bad karma in this case. You are not creating karma there. You're just experiencing, going through the results of that till you reach the point of reaching planet Earth, with the scripture said that's a possibility, that's a place where you can develop good, bad karma, and that's the ideal situation also, of course, for jumping into transcendence. So we are there now, so let's take advantage.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Okay, thank you. Oh, something else before finishing today? We have some few minutes for maybe one more last question, if there is any. No? Okay, so it seems we are done for today. Thank you very much for your time, patience, and see you tomorrow at the same time. We will continue with verse number 10. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Śrīmad Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Grantara Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Gopi Gita ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Radha Madhav ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Bol, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Hari Bol.